What's up, everyone? It is Lenny B, and welcome to my first episode of the JuiceBox presented by Lock City. It's April 10th, and I hope y'all are having a great start to the week. Today, we are on episode number 34 of the JuiceBox, which will be an overview of Paris-Roubaix, the Hell of the North. But of course, before we get into it, a reminder that you can join our premium tier Discord at wap.com/lockcity for only $5 a month. This gets you access to every cheat sheet every day across all active major sports, access to premium picks from all 9 of our pro cappers, and tons of sports specific and stat specific data points on a daily basis to help you become a better sports bettor. That's WHOP wap.com/lockcity, lockcity all one word, to get instant access for only 16 cents a day. That's less than a cup of coffee. All right. So we are going to go a little niche here today on the Juice Box and talk about cycling. Yeah, that's right. Cycling, like bicycling, but in a race. Lock City even brings you some cycling knowledge on top of all the major sports knowledge, data, and betting plays that we throw at you every single day. We are deep into the Spring Classics, which is what we call the beginning of the cycling season, where we race in these beautiful old school one-day races across Europe. It typically starts in Belgium with Omloop at the beginning of March. We saunter down to the white gravel of Tuscany at the Strade Bianche, head north to Milan San Remo, back to Belgium for a slew of smaller races, plus the classic hills of Flanders and the Ronde van Vlaanderen. Then we hop over to France for Paris-Roubaix, which we're going to talk about today. Cross the border to Netherlands for Amstel Gold, and then back to Belgium for Flèche Wallonne and Liège-Bastogne-Liège at the end of April. And then we go into the Grand Tours part of the season. Today, we are going to preview Paris-Roubaix, which is set to start this Sunday morning, April 13th, and it takes place in kind of the northwest, from Paris, outside of Paris, to the northwestern part of France. It is probably the highest profile of all the spring classics due to its historic nature and its often brutal race style due to possible inclement weather and the road type. It's long at 260 kilometers or about 161 miles. It's flat and it's really fast race that crosses over 29 sections of brutal cobblestone roads. If you can even kind of call them roads. Oftentimes, when you see pictures of them, they look more like sheep trails. And I think that's what they were using them at post-World War II. At least that's what I always read. The roads are brutal on the body. And in the 2025 edition, there are 55.7 kilometers or 34.6 miles of cobblestones, with the 3 hardest sections, the Forest of Arnberg, coming at 95K to go, Mons and Pavelay at 48K to go, and then one of the most important, the Carrefour de l'Arbre, which is the third, kind of the fourth to last cobbled section that comes with only 17 kilometers to go. So they're kind of perfectly spaced for attack after attack after attack. One of the cool things too about Paris-Roubaix is that it ends in a velodrome. So they go, for this 260 kilometers, they race all over these brutal cobblestones and roads in northwest of France, and then they end with one turn around a velodrome track where everyone gets to cheer them on, and it's pretty cool looking. Yeah, like I said, it's in the northwest of France, and it's different than the other classics that we've had so far in the season. And the earlier races typically rely on hills, rolling roads to cause the competition to ramp up. Whereas at Paris-Roubaix, you can't hide. There is no hiding in this race. It's all about your bike handling skills, your tactical acumen, and your pure power. Last year, Mathieu van der Poel won it in fitting fashion, going for a long 60-kilometer solo attack, which is it's becoming more and more common to see a long solo attack, but it used to not be very common. And in 2023, he won kind of due to a puncture by Wout van Aert, and just kind of simply being stronger at the end of 260 kilometers. He won by not that many seconds. So Mathieu van der Poel, or MVDP, is a classics beast. He's made for these races. He's honed his skills in cyclocross, winning 7 world championships. Yeah, 7 world championships in cyclocross. And him and Wout van Aert were always 1-2 battling each other, but both decided to make it the crossover to road racing, and they both have done very well for themselves. Cyclocross is basically like steeplechase on a bike, and your season is during the winter. It's cold, it's wet, you have to sprint all out for 1 hour on grass, mud, sand, hop off the bike, carry it upstairs, embankments, whatever the course designers throw at you. bike handling, redlining your lungs, and then sprinting when you're decimated are the qualities that you'll learn in that discipline. It's a lot of fun, masochistically speaking. I love it. MVDP is the favorite again this year for Paris-Roubaix, but the difference is that we're going to get a lovely duel between him and arguably the best bike rider since Eddie Merckx in Tadej Pogacar. Pogacar, or Pogi, has trained to dominate the big tours, and well, he has done just that. He's always the favorite in every tour that he's in. He's a slender and slight rider who has incredible watts per kilo numbers that make him able to destroy his competition going up long mountain climbs. But he's also just a pure rider who loves the sport. He's often seen making very astute moves that either put him in position to win or to make sure that his issues are limited in that race. He's ridden a few classics over the years, and he often wins them or he's close, but it's always the ones that have elevation as a tool in it, as he just displayed at the Tour of Flanders, which has multiple climbs mixed in it, 3 really big climbs that are really famous. They're not big like Tour de France big, but they're big, short, like they're big punchy climbs where it's like an all-out sprint up this hill. It's pretty crazy. It has a small amount of cobblestones on there as well, but nowhere near, nothing like Paris-Roubaix. But MVDP was in a wreck. He had some mechanical issues on his bike, and he really had to work to stay relevant in that race, and it really zapped his power. And over in 290 kilometers, that can take away your last bit's ability to stay at the front. So at one point, he was down to Pogi by over a minute, and he really had to work his way back through all the riders and the terrain just to get back on his wheel. Pogi didn't have his usual slew of teammates to help, but he's such a smart rider that he used the hills of Flanders to his advantage and really pushed it almost effortlessly winning Tour of Flanders by a minute and 1 second after his final attack on the Quermont punched that last nail in MVDP's legs, his worn out legs. Van der Poel is more like a linebacker, like with a hulking 6-foot frame set. He weighs about 165 pounds. Pogi is 145 pounds soaking wet, 5'9". Yeah, 20 pounds of body mass is actually a really big difference in cycling. That's a huge difference, especially for those one-day classics. Like I said earlier, the watts per kilo metric is often cited for climbers and Grand Tour riders, but for classics, it's just all about pure wattage. Like how much can you actually push? Like how much power do you have in your legs? Just pure power. Tadej's numbers in the past show that he can hold like a normalized wattage of around 340 to 350 watts. His peak is about 470 watts, whereas Van der Poel can hold normalized wattages. So that's normalized wattages is kind of like how long you can hold an extended amount of watts. His normalized wattages are about 370 to 380, with his endured sprints of over 480 watts and sometimes even greater. This is why Pogacar does not want to be in a sprint with Van der Poel at the end of a 260-kilometer race, as we saw at Milan-San Remo. Pogi had nothing left in the tank, and Van der Poel easily, quote-unquote, sprinted to the line and beat him at Milan-San Remo earlier this year. The modern tactic is to get your team to blow apart the race before the 4th of Arnberg so that when you get into the harder cobbles, the race is settled out and you can just focus on pushing the pedals. We should see fireworks before then with Alpecin, which is Van der Poel's team, and UAE, which is Pogi's team, duking out for control. Visma is typically a very astute and aggressive team employing satellite or B tactics, where they make sure to get someone into every break and every position. They get guys far up the road, they have guys in the back, so they can hop back and forward and back and have people to help. So they call it kind of satelliting, and that's Wout van Aert's team. And then with Ineos, they have Filippo Ganna, and Little Trek has Mads Pedersen, who will also both be active and very alert and have a good chance at glory on Sunday. Both have been really strong in the classics this year. Jasper Disaster Philipsen is always in the mix, but he's kind of forever the bridesmaid. And now with Tadej in this race, I kind of fear for his ability to stay relevant. Granted, now that I say that, you should probably put a little money on him too. Anyways, so what can we do with our odds? So seeing as how we are pretty hot on either Mathieu van der Poel or Tadej Pogacar to win, we can actually kind of have a pseudo-arb situation here. In cycling and horse racing, your odds are very favorable for some punts. It's only very recently with the domination of Poggi that we're seeing odds on for riders, where you'll see him favored to win at like minus 200 or 1.5 in the decimal, which is unheard of. So in America, I have only found Bet365 and BetRivers to have lines for these non-Grand Tour races. And as of this morning on Bet365, our lines are as follows. Van der Poel's at plus 225. Poggi's at plus 400 with a boost on Bet365. Mads Pedersen is plus 450. And Filippo Ganna is plus 1100 with a boost on Bet365. So for our best bets for this episode of the JuiceBox, we're going to lay down 3 bets, similar to kind of how we like to bet on horse racing, where you're using trifectas and all that sort of stuff. But we can't really quite do that here. So first one is 1 unit on Mathieu van der Poel to win at plus 225. Can he make it 3 in a row, Paris-Roubaix? Let's find out. And then for our second bet, we're going to go for 0.65 units on Tadej Pogačar at plus 400 using the Bet365 boost. Can he add the Queen of the Classics to his massive list of Palmares? And then for the third punt, just to kind of cover some more ground, we're going to put 0.175 units each way. There should be a little tab on Bet365 under this bet where it'll say E/W. So make sure that's checked on. You want that green with a check on it. So that will double your stake. So that'll be 3.5 units total on Filippo Ganna at plus 1100 using the Bet365 boost. So that'll be 2 units in total. We're putting a little extra on the Filippo Ganna because Ganna has been having a great season so far, having been forced to ride more classics against his will. But he got second overall at Tirreno-Adriatico, second at Milan San Remo behind Mathieu van der Poel, but ahead of Pogačar. He got third at E3 just behind MVDP. And then at 8th at Flanders behind Poggi and MVDP. So that's a great list of results, and he's a big, strong rider. He's even bigger than Van der Poel by a little bit. And so I really like his chances to keep that momentum over the cobblestones and hopefully get a top 3. But this is a hellish race, and you never know what will happen. There could be punctures, there could be mechanicals, there's always a couple wrecks. You just got to be in that good positioning to get yourself through it. And I can't wait to watch. This is Lenny B of Lock City telling you to bet responsibly. Don't bet more than you can't afford, and be lucky.